Hello, everyone. Welcome to Discovery Adventures. So we are live, both indoors and out today. And we are actually on site at Bobian Woods. And we're going to talk with some of our people from the Action Center. We're going to learn about different things they do and learn about and teach others out in nature. So as usual, though, this will stay the same. If you have any questions during our presentation, you can go ahead and send the questions via the Q&A feature, and myself, Jeff, will send them on to others. If we ask you, you can also send a comment through the chat. The questions work best through Q&A, but Marcy is going to be on site, give us a brief introduction, and then we are going to meet some people who are actually out there and doing work to basically preserve, protect, learn more about our environment. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Marcy Crucy.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today. I am going to be here, but mostly off camera because I'm holding the camera. So I'm going to let you interact with some of our team that works outside in our native spaces with their community around here. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Ian to give you an understanding of what's happening here.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you all can hear me well. My name is Ian Viteri, and I'm an urban conservation educator over at the Field Museum with all of our lovely friends. Right now, we are here with our Action Center team doing some volunteer conservation work over in the lovely Bobian Woods. You can see we're getting rid of some local invasive species that have taken over the area, and we want to clear it up to open up space and make room for more prairie plants, more native plants so that they can grow and shine and get all the nutrients they need so that they can come up in the spring. And we'll have a bunch of different pretty flowers, but a bunch of beautiful different colors. And that's what we're hoping to achieve today. You can see we have two different areas. We've been in this site, we've been working this site for about 5 years now at Bobian Woods, and it's taken a long time to get this to the area that it's at. Before us, this area was covered in local woody invasives, just like this one right here. This is called buckthorn. It's an invasive species that takes over the area. In the springtime, it grows these little pink berries. It grows all over the place. Birds come, they start eating up the berries, flying away, and start pooping out the seeds and spreading them out all over. Just to give you all a different example, I want you to look at this space where we haven't been able to work at yet. Take a look at it, make some observations. Tell me what you think about it. What do you see? What do you notice? How does it compare to our other site that we've been managing for quite a while? We can see the differences on my other side. Why don't y'all tell me, what do you see? What do you notice? Is there any differences?
Yeah, feel free to chat your responses to Ian there. What do you guys notice that's different? Cleaner, I hear.
Cleaner? Yeah, that's a good one. What else? Well, let me ask you this. What does a plant or a tree need to survive? What does a healthy plant need to live? What are some things that help plants grow?
Yeah, so far differences we've seen is less trees. We see trees and tree trunks. Now people are telling us, Ian, that we need soil, water to grow. Now I see fire, sunlight, fewer trees, like more space.
Sunlight, water, soil, all those things, nutrients. But also another thing that people don't take into account is that plants and trees need space. They need space to grow. What happens when there's too many things connected to each other, too many things congested? Let me give you an example. If we have two trees growing right next to each other, what's going to happen to these trees when they get bigger? You see how they get all tangled? Look at the branches. Look at how they're messing with each other. They're going to start struggling. They're going to start competing for nutrients. They're going to compete for sun. They're going to compete for the nutrients of the ground. And they're going to compete for space. They're just going to get too crowded. That's what's happening over here. You can see these vines. You can see these trees all getting crowded, all entangling themselves with each other. And so they need our help. They can't grow. There's a lot of plants on the ground that aren't able to flourish because these trees are taking away the sunlight. They're taking the nutrients from the soil. They're not letting them get the water they need for when it rains. And so they need our help as people to come in and do this kind of project so that we open up the space. We want to open up the land, make it easier for the plants to flourish, to survive, to get everything that they need. so that this can become a healthy habitat for our animal friends who live here in Bobian Woods. Now, buckthorn is just one type of invasive species. Invasive species can refer to anything that outcompetes another species for the nutrients and land. So they can come in all forms. They could be bugs, they could be birds, they can be fish, they can be other plants. Anything can be an invasive species. It just really means a species that takes over an area and doesn't let other species really flourish or prosper. It outcompetes other species. That's what we're doing here today. We're going to talk about some of our native plants that we want to grow, the ones that we want to help and make healthy. We'll talk about some of the species here in our animals. I don't know if you hear behind me. Can you all hear what's happening behind me, the sound? I don't know if they hear it.
We could hear a little rustling. It's hard to hear though.
Not too,
Maybe not as
too
much,
well.
but it sounds really loud where I am. I hear the croaking of frogs. There's a bunch of frogs hanging out in our marshy area over there. They're all talking to each other and singing at us as we're doing our work today. So it's lovely to have them with us. But there's all sorts of animals that can be found here. Cool birds. We have different wildlife like coyote and the regular squirrels, snakes, salamanders, all of our fun friends that live in this park. So we're making this habitat healthy so that they can survive, so that they can get their habitat, they can get their food that they need, and everything can be a little more diverse. Because that's what we're all about. We're all about biodiversity here in our forest.
Jeff, are there any questions yet for Ian?
We don't really have any questions yet for Ian, no.
All right.
So I'll ask you a question. Why do you think it's important to have so much biodiversity? Why should we do this in the beginning? Why wouldn't we just let buckthorn take over the whole area?
Yeah, we'll see what people say about that. I know that some people have mentioned already things like compost, and I don't know how much we do with that. People did talk about like trees growing close together, like they would connect. Okay, we have something to have a well-rounded ecosystem.
That's right. We want well-rounded ecosystem. We need different things, right? Imagine, what's your favorite food? Maybe it's pizza, maybe it's hot dogs, French fries. Imagine just eating that one food for the rest of your life, not having the choice, not having diversity of options, not being able to have tacos or spaghetti or apple pie, and you're only able to eat French fries for the rest of your life. Maybe you'll like it for a little bit. Maybe it sounds good, but after a while, I'm sure it'll get boring. We need diversity. We need different species of plants, different species of trees, different species of animals. That's what makes a healthy, well-rounded ecosystem, like you all had mentioned.
Yeah, we do have a question that's come in. I'm basically, what is Chicago's backyard, and is there like a secret there? Are there secrets there to discover?
Are there secrets in Chicago's backyard? There's a lot of hidden gems that people don't really know about. There's a lot of beautiful natural areas that people have never even visited. It's kind of hidden all off the road. You have to take a trip to get there. It's not super accessible. Bobian is one of those spaces. It's one of those hidden gems that has a beautiful lake, has a well diversity of animals. I've seen osprey here. I've even seen bald eagles. I don't think they nest here, but they've been flying around here. We get wild turkeys. There's all kinds of cool gems that are right here in the backyard of Chicago, like you said. But a lot of people don't notice it. They don't know about it, and they don't come over and visit. And so we hope that people get exposed to these places, that they get interest in coming out and visiting us, and seeing like all the amazing hidden gems that we have to offer here in Bobian Woods and other forests. I hope that answers your question. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that does well. We're going to move over and find a few other gems that are hidden here with Colleen.
Perfect. Thank you. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Bobian Woods. So a lot of people don't know about Bobian Woods. This whole area is so cool. It used to be part of a large wetland landscape that consisted of something called dune and swale. And dune is up and swale is down. It's what's super cool. You just heard Ian talking about biodiversity. But dune and swale allows for biodiversity in very small spaces. So you have plants that like the dry dune up top, and the plants that like the wet swale down below. And then you have different animals that eat those plants. We have some of those animals here. Well, they're not here, but they're like this out here. We have a goldfinch. This is a year-round resident in Chicago. Mr. Goldfinch is wearing his yellow suit. He goes into a gray suit in the fall, much less obvious, but he wears a yellow suit in the spring so he can attract his lady friends. And then we also have here downy woodpeckers. These are cute little woodpeckers. They're about the size, a little bit smaller than a robin. And the male has a little red patch on the back of his pad. And his friend here, the female woodpecker, does not. And then in the trunk of the tree where they like to nest, you might be able to see some babies if there's not too much of a glare. So woodpeckers like to eat the bugs in the bark of the trees. And so certain trees will be host to certain bugs. And as Ian was saying, if we have too much buckthorn, there's not enough trees that are going to support the woodpeckers. Goldfinches are seed eaters, and we have here a whole bunch. We have a whole bunch of seed-producing plants. So there are grasses. Let's sort myself out here. There are grasses. So we have these two grasses. And you can see they have different seeds. These have all had the seeds picked off by different insects, mice and birds. They all depend on this. We also have a couple flowering plants. These also produce seeds. And you can see they've been picked clean too as well by our friends, the birds and insects and mice. All right, so we also have lots more birds besides just the goldfinch and the woodpecker. There are 165 species of birds that have been identified here at Bobian Woods by our ornithologist, Doug Stott. He comes here a lot. An ornithologist is a scientist who studies birds. He comes here a lot and he has counted the birds. We also have lots of migrating birds that come through. Migrating birds are birds that are on their way from South America or Central America up to Canada, and they stop here to refuel. So it's really important that we have those plants that have seeds for them to eat. So what else is here? Well, maybe you might recognize this. Do you know who this is? Give you a hint. He has 4 legs. Well, actually, most animals have 4 legs, but he has hooves.
Someone says coyote, someone says deer. Colleen?
Yeah, it's a deer. This is a deer. You can see by his teeth, he's a plant eater. So it means he has teeth that can grind and crunch leaves up and make them into kind of a paste so he can digest it. So that's our deer. And then we have another little friend here. Now, can you guess who this might be? And this is a mammal that's very friendly to humans, who likes to live among us. She also lives in the forest with pointy teeth, but also chewy teeth.
I'm getting squirrel, cat.
Those
dog.
are some good guesses. Yeah, squirrel or cat. It is actually a raccoon. And originally I was looking at a skull of a cat and I said, is this the cat or is this the raccoon? And the way we know it's the raccoon is raccoons are omnivores. They eat plants, which they do with the teeth that they have like the deer, like you have at the back of your mouth, but they also eat meat. So they have these fangs that rip and tear. So that's a real easy way to tell if it's a raccoon skull. You want to look for the 2 types of teeth to see if it's an omnivore, which means it eats everything. Do you know who else is an omnivore? Any guesses?
I'll let you know if we get any, Colleen. While we're waiting for the guesses, I did have a question. And
Yeah.
someone is asking, what is the bird's safety level like there? I mean, how safe are the birds in Bobian Woods?
They're pretty safe. Was that the question? They said,
Yeah,
they're pretty safe because there's
There's a lot of food here for them when the plants are flowering and then go to seed. And then a lot of birds in the summer shift their diet to insects. And so a lot of the migrants that come through will eat insects that are attracted to oak trees. Oak trees are some of the first trees that flower out in the spring. And so when they flower, it attracts bugs, and then the bugs are eaten by the birds. So there's that kind of safety. And then on the water, they're fairly safe as well. There's not a hunting season or anything in the Cook County Forest Preserves, at least here in Bobian. So you can't really go out and hunt the birds or anything like that. And all migrating birds are protected by laws that prevent that.
Oh, and that's a good thing. Yeah. So Colleen, I hear some responses are coming. Says human, squirrel, bear.
For what's an omnivore?
Oh, you guys are so good. Yeah. So squirrels are not supposed to be omnivores, but living in the city, who knows what they eat. But yeah, bears are omnivores and humans are omnivores, right? We eat meat and plants, and bears will eat meat and plants. They like berries, but they also like fish. And they also like bugs. They like grubs. So let me tell you about one more group of people who use Bobian Woods to help them. And back in the 1850s, we had something called the Underground Railroad. Now, it's neither underground nor is it a railroad. But what it was a series of houses and hiding places where people were helping other people to escape slavery in the South. And so people would come through here. There was a Underground Railroad stop very nearby at a farm run by a man named John Pond. And his farm is just over that way. And so he would help people hide until they could move on as they continued north to Canada to seek safety. And one of the things that's really cool about Bobian Woods is we still have remnants of the plants that people might have eaten as they foraged in the woods, as they tried to survive while they were on the run. So we have a few of those here. So this is a raspberry cane. You can see it's purple. It's quite pretty. It's got thorns. So if you see something like this growing, be careful if you want to grab it. It's just starting to bud now. It buds very early. And this will produce delicious raspberries later in the summer, and you can eat them. For real, you can eat them right off the plant. We also have, now this is interesting because it's only a piece, but does anybody recognize this at all? What this might be? See how it kind of curls and it would grab, it grabs other plants, kind of curls around it.
Pumpkin,
This,
someone says.
Pumpkin?
a pumpkin, you know what? Totally, yes. It's a vine plant, right? But it's a grape plant. So there are wild grapes that grow in the woods here. And in the summer, you can come and eat them. My friend Ian, who you just met, he eats them. They're a little sour, but not bad. There's also a plant called elderberry that we couldn't find any evidence of. And then lastly, there's this interesting little plant. This is called staghorn sumac. And the top part here, you can boil in water and it is full of vitamin C, which you need for your body to function. And so what's super cool is you could take this, boil it, you could suck on it in the summer, not now, it's a little fuzzy and dry, but very good for you and delicious too. It tastes just like a popsicle.
Oh,
And that's all I have for you today.
nice. I don't know if we have time for one question. We did have a specific question just about 3 different things. Are there any rabbits, snakes, or jackals there?
Rabbits, snakes, or jackals?
There are no jackals, but there are coyotes. We have lots of coyotes here. In fact, I was looking earlier for some prints. I had seen some a few weeks ago when it was more muddy and it was wet, and you could see the coyote prints. But when it gets dry, the soil's a little harder. They walk very lightly. So we have coyotes. We have rabbits. In fact, we have evidence that a coyote probably ate a rabbit. Would you like to see it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, it's over here.
Oh, wow.
So here we have what's left. You can see that looks very rabbity. Here's some more rabbit bits. So this was left probably after a coyote enjoyed himself and had a nice dinner of rabbits. So what was the other one? And snakes. Yes, lots and lots of snakes, lots of amphibians. Again, if you can hear the frogs behind me, as I said earlier, there's part of the Bobian Woods site is still wetland. So you've got a lot of animals that like to live in water, like frogs and turtles, salamanders. And then you have snakes who you can see their holes along the path where they hide out.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Colleen, for this information. So great. And I just want to show you all the workers we have out here. These are all people who work at the Field Museum, and they're working hard, picking up that buckthorn. They've all cut it down, and then they're putting it in this fire and having a burn so we can remove all of that buckthorn from this area. And we're going to go over now to Lorena. She is going to tell us a little bit of how we work with our communities to connect them with nature.
Hey, hi. Thank you for having me. I'm Lorena Lopez. I'm with the Keller Science Action Center. Sorry, I have something in my teeth. And I connect people with nature and nature with people. As you saw from Ayan and Colleen, we need people to come out here and want to enjoy, to heal, to find respite on our busy days and at school. I know a lot of you guys right now are at school, and sometimes it could overwhelm us. And sometimes our eyes just need to relax and be in a space where we can just enjoy and have healthier air. And even though we do have a lot of invasives, there is a lot of plants like Colleen was showing you. Bobian Woods is located in the far southeast side of Chicago. And it's in the Calumet region. Does anybody know what Calumet means? That was a question. I'm actually substituting for another coworker of mine. She had this question for you guys.
Oh.
No? All right. So I'll just tell you guys. Calumet derives from Potawatomi, but the word French influence. So it's both French and native. And it means body of still water. And that's actually really perfect because here in Calumet, we have a lot of bodies of still water. We do have, this used to be all marshes and prairies and dune and swells, but we'll get to that another time. Calumet encompasses many parts, not only in the city of Chicago on the far southeast side, but also Calumet City, Riverdale, South Holland, Blue Island, Lansing, and some cities that make up on the Illinois side, but also it makes up the Indiana side as well. And there's a lot of gems, like Ian was saying, that you could come and visit. So if you go to the forestpreserveofcookcounty.org, you can find your local woods and come and explore. It's really fun. You also get to see and experience, the spring in a different way. You'll start seeing some real great things starting to bloom over here. And like Colleen said, there's a lot of birds and things of that nature. But one of the things I wanted to connect with you about is that we connect with people with nature. I'm gonna stand up now and show you guys how close we are to community. So this is Bobian Woods, like Colleen and Ayan were showing you. And across the street here is Carver Military Academy. As of course, they're probably distant learning at this point. But just down this street here, you'll find the community of Altgeld. Altgeld is a public housing complex that started after World War II to bring African-American veterans a place to live with their families. And so it's been around since the 1950s. One of the things that we have in the mission is to connect with local community to come and enjoy the outdoors. This year, we're really connecting with community to come out and do some healing events. I mean, some yoga, some walking, just getting to know the ecology and the environment. as well as we're doing edible gardens. We're doing veggie gardens with community. And that's going to be really exciting. Unfortunately, the local community here doesn't have a local grocery store. So we're looking and thinking of ways to bring fresh, accessible, sustainable food to community. So we're working with a lot of different organizations in community to make this happen and make that connection right back to nature. Yeah, so I wanted to see if anybody has any questions. I know I can talk a lot, but I want to make space for everybody here.
Yeah, thanks, Lorena. We do have a question. This may play into kind of the healing and the calm. Someone was wondering, but it also may play into what we're hearing behind you. Is Chicago's backyard always quiet?
No, it's not. You are hearing currently, maybe you can hear the frogs on this side, and on this side you'll hear the Bishop Fort. Yeah, so we have the expressway right adjacent to Bobian Woods as well. This is just the reality of being part of a city. But once you're here, it kind of becomes back noise, and you really start emphasizing the nature noises. One of the things that's going to also happen on this side, there's going to be a red line extension to the local community coming soon. So there's going to be even more noise. But again, that's the reality of living in the city, but it's still a very beautiful nature preserve to enjoy. But yes, it is what it is, unfortunately.
It has both kinds of noise. Yeah. Someone was wondering, just for you personally, Lorena, how long have you been out amongst nature? Like all your life, or when did you start getting into nature?
I was actually I was about 32 years old when I started coming out to do stewardship outside, and the first time I came, I've been coming to the forest preserve since I was in first grade. My first nature experience was at a field trip I went to the Little Red Schoolhouse. If anybody knows where that is, that's one of our handful of nature preserves within the Cook County Forest Preserve system. It's in the Palos Heights area, and it is beautiful. And actually now I went there the first time when I was in first grade, and now I get to work and partner with different partners there. It's so funny. I also have a passion to grow food, and so I have been having my own little garden since I was in third grade, but never really fully understood the ecology and what's needed in the forest preserve until my adult age. So it's never too late. It's better if you start early. So come on out and enjoy yourself out here. Anybody can do it. You bring your parents, your uncles, and it's for all abilities as well. That's really important to understand. It's for everybody.
That's awesome. Thank you, Lorena. One other, how long has basically, I think they mean like the Field Museum, been working in Bobian Woods? How long has that been an area that we've been involved with?
Yeah, great question. We've been working in Bobian for, I think, about 14 years. So we have been doing a lot of work here. This is just one area that we have restored. There's many other areas within Bobian that we have done restoration work, but it's been about 14 years.
Great.
And I've been at the Field Museum for 2.5.
Okay, wow. So yeah, great ongoing project. I think you or someone explained this a little bit earlier, but where is Bobian? If someone wants to visit there, what's a good way to get to Bobian?
So again, all you need to do is Google it. So if you go to a Google Maps, you put Bobian Woods, and it'll tell you from where you're at to get here. But it's basically on the southeast side of Chicago. It's close to Indiana, and it's right at the edge of Chicago. So if you think about the southeast side, think about just the very edge. There's a river that divides the south suburbs, which is called Little Calumet River, and Chicago. It's right adjacent to that river as well.
Thanks.
So if you can imagine, just think about the corner going towards Indiana, right where there's a big river. That's where Bobian Woods is.
All right. Great. Well, thank you, Lorena. We've shared a few links, I think, in the chat as far as ways people can get involved or learn more. And did you have anything else you wanted to share?
No, I I'm letting you know that it's never too late. It's if you start early to really discover these woods, we need you. We need you to be involved, even if it's not what you're planning on doing with your career. It's important to have a spirit of volunteerism. And it also is very satisfying. I know I have a 12-year-old, she always tries to find the most satisfying things and she loves it out here. And yeah, encourage your parents, encourage your siblings to come outside with you and do this, so you get to really enjoy the outdoors and connect with nature and do something good. We need you.
Thank you. Marcy, did we have any other guests who were going to join us?
Oh, sorry about my fingers off. No, that is everybody. Thank you everyone for joining us today. This has been so much fun for us to show you the awesome work we're doing here. And just remember, if you are in the Chicago area, then you can also join in this work. You can volunteer and help do this. Just go to the Forest Preserves of Cook County website and look for work days. You can go to Bobian Woods, or you can go to a different forest preserve near you. If you're not near Chicago, there is nature everywhere. So look for a place near you where you can go explore and go help out in those areas as well. Awesome. Thank you all so much for your wonderful questions and hanging out with us here at Bobian Woods. We've had such a fun time. Bye.
Bye all. Enjoy nature.